My first impression of Resident Evil was that it was just non-stop from front to end. Non-stop action. I always rely and have relied for a number of years on my main man, stunt coordinator, so to speak, Steve Lasescu. He is not just a daredevil. He's an engineer getting into the physics of a particular stunt. He's definitely been challenged on this one.
A little more to the center, Milla. There.
I wanted to make it look very gritty and have action scenes that I hadn't seen before and do it as real as possible.
Alexander comes from an extremely high energy, high stunt-oriented background of second unit directing.
That's one of the things that Alexander Witt brings to the table. He knows that it looks better in real life than just faking it.
I've been doing martial arts for the last 3 years, so that kind of came in handy when I had to do all kinds of kicks. Obviously, you have to do some kind of physical training in order to be able to keep up. If you're shooting a scene and you have to jump over a fence and then do 3 kicks and you have to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again, you have to be in a certain physical shape to be able to do that.
I've done various martial arts over the years, so we've just built on some of my own martial art experience, honed those moves, made them much more cop-like, much more dynamic. So you're gonna do this on this move and that'll basically break someone's neck, and I'm like, in real life? Is that, yeah? Okay. It's very cool.
It will make the movie more credible and more realistic that oftentimes our actors are performing their own stunts.
I love the action scenes, the fighting, the stunts. Fair wants to do it. Fair does it, and does it well.
You missed one. The girls especially have developed their macho attitude, and they all want to do their own stunts.
All actors want to do as much as they can on camera. Unfortunately, sometimes it's very dangerous for them. In a way, I had to stop them a little bit on getting involved in the stunts.
I mean, nothing should ever happen, but I mean, when you have one of your leads hanging off a cable, 50 or 70 feet in the air, you want to make sure that they know what they're doing.
I think they want you to want to do it. If you're afraid, it would look better if a stunt guy does it. So you need to know when to let go.
When we shot the helicopter jump, what we wanted to show in this shot, we wanted to show the city skyline. We wanted to show that we were actually up on top of the TD Center, downtown Toronto, and it was 450 feet in the air.
The first idea was to do this in blue screen, which I didn't like, and I thought it would look a lot better if we could do it for real. So when we did the stunt itself, the helicopter was flying, I think, 50 or 60 feet above the roof, and we had a square full of boxes where the stunt guy would fall in.
David Tomasini, the helicopter pilot, brought the helicopter into position, and as he approached the top of the TD Center, we had Joel Harris jump out of the helicopter and pull the guns out as he did the jump and blast the guns on the way down. It was a pretty amazing shot.
The only thing that we did later was to include a close-up of him falling. So that we did from a crane on a descender. We let Odette Fair descend, and the cameras were down below looking very close on him.
Jumping out of a helicopter, that's no big deal. I've done that, once a week.
When I first started working with Milla, the only reference I had of her was from Resident Evil 1. My first impressions were we have a lot of work because there's 1,000 times more action in RE2. When we were training Milla, her level of conditioning and just the sheer physical energy that she could come up with every single day just astonished me.
She's been going at it day in, day out, 5 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day for 3.5, 4 months, working out with various martial art experts, then with trainers, then with fight choreographers, then with the stunt people.
She just excelled at it every single day.
When you're doing 3 hours a day of intensive training, it just wakes you up. Your body feels so much better, you have more energy.
She's in phenomenal shape that she was not in the first film. You really believe her as this evolving super weapon.
So when you see her kicking Nemesis's ass or kicking the Undead's ass, it's Milla doing that.
I'm all like buff and stuff, and I'm all like, yeah, like Linda Hamilton, and like, yeah, what's up?
Milla's stunt double on Resident Evil 2 was Joanne Leach.
This was her first feature film that she was actually doing the actual stunts on camera for.
Joanne Leach, my stunt double, is amazing. She's a world champion martial artist. I pretty much said, Joanne, if I can look like you doing that, I'll be fine. So let me just copy you, okay?
You know, oftentimes we watch the dailies and we have to look twice to see, is this now Milla, or was it Joanne, or is it Milla, or is it Joanne?
Joanne did the craziest stunt in the world on this film. You have never seen anything like this, ever.
Joanne had a harness and she was hooked up to a descender rig that I could lower her at a fixed rate of speed. But we also had her on a separate wire guide rig to keep her against the building so that she could achieve the running down the side of the building look. And then we had a completely separate rig set up for the camera.
When I talked to Milla about the shot, she was very impressed and thought it was a very cool shot to do. And of course, she wanted to do it herself.
It's 250 feet, doesn't mean I can't do it.
I mean, I really had to fight almost for her not to do the shot.
She was on wires and levers. Steve Luchescu had it totally worked out like a mathematician.
I did the last 60 feet of the rappelling down the building, which was scary, to say the least. I mean, I've done 200 and something feet in Magic Mountain where I hang on the wire and I release myself and then I fly like back and forth, right? But the whole way I'm like, oh my God. So this time I had to go 60 feet down, but no screaming. I mean, I don't know if people really understand what that means. It's the illest thing you could ever imagine.
It probably will look like a really expensive and brilliant visual effects shot, but we shot it for real in camera, and it'll be much more impressive for that. Nemesis is just this great, extraordinary, original being. We decided to basically find a really big bloke and built this suit for him.
Nemesis was played by a character by the name of Matt Taylor. Matt is 6'7" and weighs about 320 pounds.
He's one of those guys that you kind of go, hey, how you doing?
You're really, 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 really big, aren't you?
I think people are expecting to see a lot from this character. He has to make the audience believe he is who he is. He has to move a certain way. He has to look a certain way, obviously, and I think if you put someone in there that doesn't move the right way, it's not going to sell. So it's a huge responsibility.
They put this unbelievable costume on him, and it looks exactly like the game and worse.
This suit was designed specifically for my body. No one else can wear it.
Nemesis' suit was literally designed around him. We tried to bear in mind weight issues. The suit itself still ended up weighing 65 to 70 pounds.
Couldn't spend more than 10, 15 minutes in it because it was so hot.
After the number of days I've been in the mask, you get used to it.
Milla and Matt trained together for about 6 weeks straight, approximately 4 hours every day on the fights that they did.
We spent quite a bit of time together. She seems like she's a tough one, so I wouldn't want to get on her bad side.
For every move Nemesis makes, Alice does 5 moves. She's always thinking 5 steps ahead. I tried my best. I tried.
The cams were rolling, you know, the adrenaline's pumping, and that's when the Nemesis kind of just exploded.
Resident Evil 2 was certainly one of the more complicated movies that I've ever done. Everything that just basically wore you down and wore you out for the entire time that you shot, you just kind of forget about all that, and you're just really happy when you see the final footage on the screen.